Kia ora team, welcome back to the 2.6 video series. This is video 7 and it's about adaptations to biotic factors. In this lesson you'll be learning about mutualism, commensalism, exploitation and competition at Arataki. And by the end of the lesson you should be able to explain mutualism, commensalism, exploitation and competition using examples from Arataki. So in your assessment report, I'd like you to include at least an explanation of at least 3 different species interrelationships. Each interrelationship should be explained very well by answering these questions. What's the relationship? Who benefits and who's harmed? Why? And what adaptations enable this relationship to happen? So let's start off with the relationship between emergent trees, Rimu and Kaikatia, and the Kereru. This relationship is called mutualism. Rimu and Kaikatia produce fleshy seed cones that are brightly coloured. The brightly coloured part is a structural adaptation, and you could also call it a physiological adaptation, to attract birds like the Kereru. Birds like the Kereru have really good eyesight, and that's a physiological adaptation, and that's why they're attracted to brightly coloured fruit. Kereru benefit from food, and Rimu and Kaikatia benefit from getting seed dispersal. What about the relationship between Nico and Kereru? That's mutualism, because Nico produce berries that are also brightly coloured, the structural or physiological adaptation, to attract birds like the Kereru. See here, very brightly coloured fruit. Kereru benefit from food, and again, Nico benefit from seed dispersal. There's also a mutualistic relationship between the perching lily and Kereru, and you probably guessed it, that perching lilies produce berries that are brightly coloured to attract birds like the Kereru because they have really good colour vision. Kereru benefit from food, and they poop out seeds high up in trees. This is important because perching lily seeds only germinate, they only start growing in areas of high light intensity, such as high up in tree branches. Now, something that the guides have mentioned in the trip that I haven't put in the slide is that perching lily seeds that have been pooped out are extremely sticky, so that once they pooped out, they can stick to whatever they land on up high in the emergent layer as the Kereru poops them out. And what about the relationship between perching lily, Nico, and the tui? That's mutualism. Nico and perching lilies produce pale yellow flowers. That's a structural adaptation that attracts pollinator birds like tui. Tui benefit from this relationship by drinking the nectar. They don't care about the pollen, they want the nectar. And being able to produce the nectar is a physiological adaptation. Nico and perching lilies, the plants, benefit because tui bring the pollen from the flowers from one plant to another plant as they fly from one plant to another plant to get nectar, which leads to pollination, which is a form of sexual reproduction. Alright, so the relationship between northern rata and possums is called herbivory, which is a form of exploitation. Possums have a strong preference for browsing on rata leaves, flowers, and fruit. It actually constitutes 30% of its diets. And rata they can't tolerate this herbivory, this browsing. And a mature rata tree can be killed within 3 years of intensive browsing. So this is not good. The possum is benefited, they get food, but the northern rata is harmed and can even die. What about the relationship between Rimu and perching lily? This relationship is called commensalism. Perching lilies benefit from perching on the tree branches or the trunks of Rimu because they can obtain high light intensity. But the Rimu is not affected because perching lilies don't have roots that go into the Rimu and take water and nutrients from the Rimu tree. Perching lilies don't do that. They're self-sufficient because they don't spend energy sending roots to the ground, so they have to be self-sufficient in other ways. Well, they have a root system at the center of the plant, and this root system is able to make its own soil. You'll see later how. It also has V-shaped leaves that act like a funnel and direct water into the central root system. They make their own soil because dead insects and dead leaves fall into the center of the plant, and as those dead organisms decompose, it adds to the soil that's created by the plant. It provides nutrients for the plant. Finally, perching lilies also have very tough leaves that don't wilt easily in hot, low humidity conditions. Cool. In this picture here, you can see a massive central root system, and this population of perching lilies on here, because I suspect there's more than one, have made their own soil from fallen debris and dead insects. In these two pictures here, you can see V-shaped leaves. Can you see that there's a crease in the middle? There's a crease in the middle of all these leaves, making it V-shaped. There's a crease here, making it V-shaped. Now that funnels water into the center of the plant, into the central root system of the plant. So you can actually imagine the center of the plant being creating its own pocket of humidity, and it's got pools of water in here. That attracts insects to breed in there or to take sips of water in this pool. And when those insects die, or when they poop, they decompose and add to the soil. And you can see here that these leaves are tough, so they don't wilt easily when the conditions are really dry. What's the relationship between many Nico seedlings? That's intra-specific competition. So Kenadu can poop out several Nico seeds in the same area. Nico seedlings that germinate or start to grow in the same area are in direct competition for light, space, water, and nutrients. From these seedlings, only one will reach the canopy if any of them actually do. So in this picture, there's many Nico seedlings, and each Nico seedling has the same ecological niche, and so they'll be in direct competition with each other. How about various species of seedlings? That's called interspecific competition. Nico seedlings also compete for light, water, space, and nutrients with seedlings from other species that germinate in the same area. Like here, you've got some Nico seedlings, that grassy looking plant, and you've also got some karaka seedlings, these ones here, and you've got some hange seedlings here. They can't all survive to adulthood because they'll be competing for light, water, nutrients, and space. A few individuals will outcompete all others. Rimu and Northern Rata. That relationship is called commensalism to begin with. Okay, so Northern Rata seeds can germinate on the ground, but most seeds germinate on tree branches and become epiphytes like the perching lily. It benefits from being exposed to more sunlight, while the host tree, Rimu, is not harmed. As an epiphyte, Northern Rata have tuber-like swellings on its roots to help with water storage. As you can imagine, as an epiphyte, this is really important that it has its own water source. It collects water in these tuber-like swellings on its roots so that it doesn't have to rely on the host tree to provide it with any of that. That's how it can have a commensalism relationship with Rimu. But then, as the Northern Rata epiphyte grows up, it becomes an adult, it sends roots to the ground. Many roots encircle the trunk of the host plant, and it develops a massive trunk and root system. And this foliage that it creates, the leaves it creates, it can actually overshade the host. The Northern Rata is now directly competing with its host Rimu for light, water, and nutrients from the soil. Now I'd like to check your understanding. Question 1. When describing a mutualism relationship, which statement is correct? A. Both species benefit. B. One species benefits, the other is harmed. C. One species is not affected, the other species is harmed. D. Both species are harmed. Question 2. Which of these are adaptations associated with mutualism relationships? A. Bright coloured fruit or seed cones. B. Nectar. C. Good colour vision. Or D. All of the above. Question 3. When describing a commensalism relationship, which statement is correct? A. Both species benefit. B. One species benefits, the other species is harmed. C. One species is not affected, the other species is harmed. D. Both species are harmed. Question 4. Which of these adaptations are associated with commensalism relationships? A. Razor-sharp teeth. B. V-shaped leaves. C. good colour vision, or D, strangling roots? And question 5, herbivory is a type of what species interrelationship? A, exploitation, B, competition, C, commensalism, and D, mutualism. Kapai team, you've made it to the end of the lesson, so by now you should be able to explain mutualism, commensalism, exploitation, and competition using specific examples from Arataki. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be our last video.